Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from Germany. Today is Saturday, the 16th of September 2017. I'm so glad you're joining me today to talk about some knitting. I have quite a few things to show you. I'll start with finished objects, then talk about works in progress, some acquisitions, and then life in general. Oh, and I also have some spinning to show you as well. So let's just jump right in, I think. First of all, maybe I should tell you where you can find the show notes for this episode. We have a Ravelry group called the Happy Knitting Podcast group, and that's where you can find that, as well as knit-alongs, giveaways, chatter threads, and so on. So, for finished objects, I have 3. First of all, I finished these Hedgehog Socks. These are going to be a pair of gift socks. This is the yarn that I use. It's Regia 4-ply in the Norway color range, and the colorway number is 2915. And you can see it has this really fun patterning, which I think is really beautiful. And I knit a pair of vanilla socks over 60 stitches on a 2.25mm needle. They are not matching. I just decided to cast on. I did 2 at a time from the toe up with a fish lips kiss heel. So I really like how these came out, and these will be a gift, like I said. Very happy with this yarn. I am slowly getting back into knitting with self-patterning yarns, so yay. Very happy with these. Secondly, I finished my Hedgehog fiber socks, and I only have one on the sock blocker. This is Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn in their regular sock base, which is a 90-10 merino nylon blend in the juniper colorway. I knit these for myself as I've mentioned a couple of times. I want to create a hedgehog sock drawer for myself, which would be, so this is pair number 2 for that plan. I'm not planning to knit hedgehog socks exclusively or have my sock drawer finished anytime soon, but I would like to have a couple of pairs because I mentioned many times how I really like how this yarn feels and wears, and obviously the colors are very beautiful. So vanilla socks, I do my vanilla socks quite long, so I think it's like a 70 or 80 row leg, and then a garter stitch fish lips kiss heel. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about these. I knit these over 64 stitches. Again on a US size 1 2.25mm needle. I keep getting questions about the garter stitch heel that I do. I literally do the fish lips kiss heel, except that I knit all the purl stitches. That's literally all you have to do to turn it into a garter stitch heel. In terms of how it wears, I really like it. I know that some people might be bothered by the garter ridges at the bottom of the foot, which is why I don't do it for gift socks. I would do it for gift socks if it's for Kai, because I know he doesn't mind, but if someone is very sensitive, they might not enjoy it. Having said that, it just gives it a little bit more stretch, which is very good for sizing for gift socks. If you don't know the foot size exactly, I think this gives you a bit more of just room to play with. And yeah, I mostly do it because it's very fast, and I like the sort of fun textured effect that it gives. It fits pretty much like a normal heel, I would say. It's a little bit more stretchy just for because of the nature of garter stitch, but I haven't noticed it wearing down any faster or anything like that. So I would definitely recommend it, but if you're thinking about trying it, maybe try it for yourself first and see how you like it before you knit it for other people. And I think that's all I have to say about that. So yeah, those are my 2 finished socks, and then of course there's the elephant in the room. If you've been watching before, you know what I'm talking about. And that is my finished sweater, which I'm wearing. I finished it, I think, on Wednesday and left it to block until Thursday night, and I haven't taken it off since pretty much. I've even worn this to work because I was just so excited about it. This is my faded pavement sweater. The pavement sweater is a pattern by Vera Valimaki. Again, it will be linked in the show notes. And I knit a faded version out of 3 colors of Debbie Bliss Araucania lace. No, botany lace, that's it. I went through the colors before, they were just numbers, I don't remember. But let me show it to you first and then I'll talk about it some more. So this is going to be quite awkward. But you can see this is what it looks like. So I've knit full-length sleeves, except I keep on pulling them up. And I knit ribbing at the bottom and ribbing at the sleeves, which is not what you're supposed to do, but I just felt like doing that. So yeah, in terms of my modifications, like I said, I did the top as you're supposed to. I just didn't want to do the dipped hem that was originally in the pattern, mostly because I was lazy. So I did a 3x2 ribbing both on the hem and on the sleeves. I decided to go for full length sleeves. And as you can see, I did quite a bit of ribbing because I just really like how that fits. Besides that, I followed the pattern pretty much exactly. In terms of the sizing, I thought about this a lot, and the thing is, it works, but if I do knit it again, which I probably will, I will go a size up. Because as you can see here, it fits very well. It fits a lot better than all of my other sweaters, but sometimes I do feel like it's stretching out here a little bit too much, just a smidge. And the reason for that is that I was in between sizes, and I think this pattern calls for a 14 centimeter measure of positive ease, and I didn't want that much of positive ease because I just don't want a huge sweater. And I was in between sizes, so with my gauge not working out and so on, I think I ended up with about 9 centimeters of positive ease, which you can see there's quite a bit of ease here, but not as much. But of course I didn't think about the fact that if I knit a smaller size in terms of the ease, it probably won't fit 100% up here as well. So that's why, like I said, I think next time I will knit it a size up. And then I can always just decrease a little bit more on the body if I don't want it to be as wide. But of course, playing with the ease would affect the entire fit on the shoulders as well. But yeah, I really like this sort of, it's not a crew neck, but it doesn't go down very far. It's sort of like it almost sits off your shoulders, which I really like this look. And I found this to be the most wearable sweater of all of the sweaters I've knit. I am so in love with this. It's fingering weight, and I knit it on a 3.5mm needle, so it's quite a loose fabric. So it's just the perfect sort of top. I just tend to wear it with a tank top like I am right now, because I think it would be too bulky if you wore like a long sleeve shirt underneath. But it's just perfect. It's so comfortable, and I think it's really cute, and I just love this sweater so much. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Also, my sleeves, they fit, but again, they feel a little bit too tight, which is probably more my own personal taste than anything else. So again, if I go up a size next time, that shouldn't be an issue. Like, it fits great, but there's not like a whole room to play, which I'm not sure. If I wanted to, or if you want something to wear underneath, like a long sleeve shirt, you definitely have to go up or change the sleeves a little bit, because like I said, these are very tight. Not uncomfortably tight or in a way that they don't fit, but just, yeah, like I said, just a tiny bit too tight. But yeah, I am ridiculously happy with this sweater. I think I'm going to wear it a ton. What happens with lots of my sweaters is that I don't wear them enough, because they're either too special or they don't go with anything else. But with this, I've just decided to wear it whenever, wherever, and I'm very excited about it. So yeah, like I said, 3.5mm needles. I think you're supposed to use way larger sizes, but my gauge didn't work out that way. I think I did a 2.5mm needle for the garter stitch band. What else? I faded the colors just by striping them. I think I striped them for 4 rows before going into the second color. And if you watched the previous episodes, you'll know that I kind of knit part of the body and then knit part of the sleeves and then continued to knit on the body, which meant that in the end it was quite easy to finish because I didn't have 2 entire sleeves to knit at the end. So yeah, I am loving this, and I could probably talk about it for another hour, but I try to move on. So let's talk about some works in progress, and I've just realized that I left my coffee in the other room. I'll have to pause eventually anyway, so I'll go and get it later. Now I really want coffee. So since I finished a bunch of stuff, I don't have that much on the needles. I've only done 1 new cast on, But let's go through the older works in progress first. So in this flamingo bag, which I'm not sure if I can mention it yet, I will send this together with some yarn from a lovely friend who's thinking about an Etsy shop, but I'm not quite sure what's happening with that, so maybe I'll check with her first and then I'll let you know in the next episode. But in here is my Good Vibes shawl, which I didn't show last week because I didn't really work on it. This is the Good Vibes pattern by NCL Knits, who is a French designer, I believe. And it's a 2-color shawl, but I'm just in the first color portion still. So it is a sort of semicircular garter stitch eyelet shawl. And then when you join in the second color, you do sort of like a lace with short rows, which looks super interesting. And that's the part that I'm really excited to get to. So far it's been very monotonous. I haven't hated it, but I'm very, very looking forward to finishing this part so I can get to the interesting stuff. So the yarn that I'm using is really, really beautiful, and that's making the entire process a lot more fun. This is Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the Cactus Flower colorway, and I really just love how the tonality in this yarn. I'm not sure if it's going to come out, but it's like reds and oranges in here as well, which I think makes it really, really beautiful. And I really like how this yarn is working up in garter stitch, to be honest. My second color is more speckled, and this is from Golden Yarns in the, I think it's Dixon colorway. Yes, it's a Walking Dead inspired colorway that I got from her ages ago. I think over a year ago. And again, it's also a singles yarn, so I think this will be really, really beautiful with the lace. And I'm looking forward to this being done, but I'm quite far from being finished. Again, I went down a needle size. I'm using 3.5mm US size 4 needles instead of the US size 6 that was recommended, simply because I like knitting on smaller needles. And I'm using the circular needles from Knit Picks or Knit Pro once again. These are sort of like my spare needles because my other ones were being used in my sweater. And I never really reach for them, but I don't mind them. They're just not my favorite, which I think it has less to do with the needle and more to do with this black Knit Picks cord. I know quite a few of their needles have this black cord, but it's just a little bit too stiff for me. But like I said, I don't mind them. I just prefer my Addies or higher sharps or something like that. So that's my shawl. Oh, I'm loving even just seeing my sweater on the camera. It's making me so happy. And I feel like I'm speeding through this again, but that's maybe not a bad thing, because why? There was a reason why I wanted to make this rather quick, but now I don't remember why. Oh my gosh, I need some more coffee, definitely. You know that stage when you're like, at work, this happens to me all the time. I have some coffee and then I start feeling really funny and I'm like, should I have more coffee or less coffee now? Like, which way is the right way to go? Maybe that's just me. Anyways, in here I have my swampy socks, and this is a very sad whip because I don't even know if I worked on it since I last showed it to you. So I'll be quick. This is yarn from Nalibes, who I will link in my show notes. She's a German dyer. The first sock is finished. This is in the Wannabe Space colorway on her wool and nylon blend. I really like the sort of variegation in here, but I think I might have actually only just worked like an inch or something on here, so I don't want to go into too much detail. These will be for Kai if I ever get around to finishing them. I just haven't really felt the need to work on these. I don't know why, probably because it's a 68 stitch sock and I flew through the first sock and then I got sick of it. So I should do that soon. And my phone battery is flashing at me, so I remember now that was the reason why I wanted to go fast. My last work in progress before I might go and charge my phone for a second is a new cast on in my favorite wild woodsy bag. The one that I never remember. I will link it in the show notes. So I didn't used to be a Halloweeny sort of person, and then I met my friend Grace, who loves it, and I totally blame her, and she knows this. So after being friends for a while now and her always having a Halloweeny influence on me, now I love Halloween as well. So I have to knit all the Halloween socks. So I've had this yarn, this is actually called Halloween, for quite a while and waited for it to be knit up sort of in time for Halloween, so I figured now is the best time to cast on. This is a German indie dyer called Pavement Sweater, and once again I will link it in the show notes because you will probably not find it by this label. This is on her 75-25 base and it's called Halloween. And I mean, isn't this the most beautiful pooling micro strapping that you have ever seen? I love this colorway so much. I am seriously addicted to knitting on this sock. So I've done a vanilla sock, I've done a very long vanilla sock once again with a garter stitch heel, and I am already halfway down the foot. I just can't get enough of this yarn. This is so stunning and possibly my favorite sock ever, and I am ridiculously happy to be knitting on this. These will definitely be my socks and I won't give them to anyone else. Oh my gosh, just looking at them makes me so happy. It's so neon and beautiful, and yeah, I love this sock to death. So I'll charge my phone, empty my memory card, and then I will be back with spinning, acquisitions, and life in general. So I'm back. I have now balanced my phone, which is charging on my desk, with my computer, which is not charging and threatening to also run out of battery, but let's just hope for the best and see how it goes. Also, I have now found my coffee, so that is definitely helping. It's so weird. Today I have so much energy. I think it's because the weather is terrible and rainy, and it just makes me want to go outside and do all the things, and I can't. So, works in progress are done. Let's talk about some acquisitions. No, actually, let's talk about some spinning first. I have one thing still drying, but I have been spinning up some samples, and I have never really seen the joy in spinning up samples until very recently, because I haven't been spinning too much, mostly because it takes so much time and it's so frustrating when you sit down so many times to get something finished and then something changes and your tension changes and you get uneven yarn. So the other day I stumbled across some samples that I still had lying around, and I decided to just spin up some samples. So every night I would maybe spend 15 minutes spinning up singles, and there's just one tiny sample of something, and then the next night I would just chain ply it up, and so I've come up with some small little skeins. I'll start with these two. This top one is one that I spun up quite a while ago. This was a test spin for the yarn from elfenwolle fiber that I then spun up into a 2-ply yarn. So this is the first try I did with this yarn. I just spun a couple of singles and did a chain ply to see how they came out, and then adjusted my spinning style. And this is the same fiber, although the colors seem kind of different. It's the same colorway, the same fiber, except these are the singles that were left over from my finished spin. And you can see that it's quite different. I'm not sure. The bottom one is very fluffy and woolen spun, sort of like has a bit more of a halo, whereas this top one I spun a little bit tighter, a little bit thinner, and it came out quite differently, so I just thought that was very interesting. Next, I spun up a fuzzling, which I think is from fondant fiber, but don't ask me what it is. It has sparklings. I think it is a merino and silk. And this was the biggest sort of chunk of sample that I had. And I think it's really, really pretty. I'm usually not a very textured spinner. I just like my yarns to be very untextured, plain, or I don't know what the even, I guess, is the right word. But with these samples, I've just been having some fun, and you can really see it. I think it's really pretty, and it's a good practice as well. So I've really been enjoying this one. I would like to spin more of this, but I don't remember what it is, and I think I got this back when we were not even living in Munich, so probably at least 1.5 years ago. But very fun. It has colorful sparkles in here, and yeah, very happy with this. I got about 40 meters of this. It's about a fingering weight, I would say. And then this one was also a rolag that I think I got sent from Fun and Fiber with my order at some point. It's very dark. It also has some glitter. It excitingly has purple glitter in here, but you're probably not going to be able to see it too well. I'm very sorry about that. This one I tried to spin quite finely, and then did a quite tight chain ply again. And it's come out rather nice as well, but I find it a bit too sort of halo-y. Halo-y surely isn't the word. But yeah, it was just really fun to play with these. I've also been clearing my bobbins, so I have one thing that I finally just finished, which was almost finished for so many months that I don't remember what it is again. But I have no idea what to do with these. I might just use them for blanket squares or give them as gifts to people who like hand spun. I was just having some fun, and I'm also now spinning up my last braid of Elfenwolle Merino Nylon, which I am going to spin into sock yarn, and this is still on my wheel, so I'm not going to take it off, but I'm really enjoying the spinning now that it's getting cooler, and I don't know, I'm still loving my knitting, but I've been finding more moments lately where I want to do something else, so spinning is perfect. So now let's get back into my acquisitions. I have been spoiled again this week, you guys. I don't even know where to start. I'll start with the yarn. So I mentioned last week that I had ordered some Halloween yarn from Helen of Giddy Yarns, who is a UK-based indie dyer. And we have a coupon code for her shop, so please check out the coupon code thread in the Rav Group. And the colorway that I ordered is called Spooktacular. And let me show you the colorway name first. I thought it was hilarious. I think she had 3 different Halloween colorways. And it's on her merino nylon base, and this is what it looks like. Isn't it just awesome? I would never order these colors usually, but I really somehow love them and decided that this has to be mine. So that's the logo, Giddy Yarns, and this is just such a fun colorway. And this will be my second pair of Halloween socks. And I think 2 pairs is a good number to get done without going too crazy. So I love this, and this base is so soft. I am so tempted to order some more immediately, which is so bad. Especially because I had placed this order for one skein, and then I think the next day she posted some pictures of some sock sets on Instagram, and I had to run to her and ask her if I could add that to my order. And thankfully Helen is super sweet, and she has. And we managed to figure it out. So I also got this sock set called Rainbow Drops. It's the same base, and it is a 50-gram skein of this sort of speckly colorway together with this neon mini skein, which totally sold it for me, of course. It's kind of blowing out a bit. That's better. So this will be a very fun pair of socks with contrasting heels and toes. Again, very excited about this. And Helen is awesome. She also sent a skein for the podcast, which I'm sorry, but I had to unwrap it to look at it. So it was beautifully packaged. I had to rip it open. And funnily enough, this was one colorway that I was also so very torn about getting it because it's so beautiful. So this is going to be very, very hard to part with, but I'm going to give it away, don't worry. But it is so, so beautiful. It's called Jumping in Muddy Puddles, which was inspired by some kids series, which unfortunately I don't know and don't remember. But if I remember, I'll put it in the show notes. But isn't this just stunning as well? It's the same base with, how many more times can I tell you that I really like it? And look at these speckles at the top, and then the pinks and the browns. This is just beautiful. So thank you so much, Helen, for donating that to the podcast. I will figure out, I have quite a few prizes now. I'm still working on knit-alongs, and I will figure out some kind of giveaway with these things soon. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but like I said, there will come a time when I will give those away for sure. So that's just very, very exciting, and oh my gosh. I'm going to put this away immediately because otherwise I will just be looking at it and wanting to keep it, and that's not the way this is going to happen. So very exciting, very, very excited about this yarn. And my voice is going. I'm not sure why. It's so weird. I have a job where I talk on the phone all the time, so you'd think I would be used to talking, but somehow when I record the podcast I still struggle. So, the other thing is a huge gift which I didn't deserve and didn't expect, and it's of course by my lovely friend Marion, who keeps on spoiling me, and I feel quite bad about it, or I would feel bad if I didn't love it as much. So first of all, Marion gave me this project bag, and some of the German viewers might recognize this because this is from the Strickmich Club by Martina Behm. I won't go into the details because I've never been part of the club, but it's sort of a thing where you get a yarn and pattern and so on. And Marion has had one of these project bags that came with it for ages, and I've been wanting one for ages, or I've been really admiring hers. So she got me one. So it's a drawstring bag. It kind of reminds me of the Fringe Supply Co bags. And of course I love the color, and I think this is perfect for a pair of socks. Like I said, I've been seeing Marion take it to lots of places, and she just ordered me one, which is crazy, but I absolutely love this, and I will put a project in this immediately after podcasting. But no, that's not all. Marion is crazy, so with this she also gave me this. So it's a knitting planner, which is, come on, focus. This is the Strick planner or knitting planner that Martina Behm also brings out every year, I think. I've seen it on the internet, but didn't treat myself, but then Marion did. So it's a planner for 2018 that is supposed to help with your knitting. So I won't go into too much detail, but already look at all these like drawings of knitted things. And then you have a normal planner with like holidays and all the normal things that are in the planners, but also you have a part where you put your priorities in terms of your knitting. So you can sort of write down your knitting goals. There are like knitting related notes at the bottom, reminders, for example, about EYF, which I think might be a sponsor of this. And there's a note section in the back, which I think is really awesome, is a ruler, and there was also somewhere, oh yeah, here is a diagram with the different needle sizes, and there are just all these handy knitting things in this planner, which is so awesome, and I love planners. And funnily enough, I don't even have a planner for 2018 yet, so this is just perfect. With it came some stickers. They're just normal sort of planner stickers. And then there are knitting stickers. So look at all these socks and shawls and sweaters and cardigans, and there's like knitting needles, crochet hooks. There's even frogs for frogging something. So I'm going to be having so much fun with putting these stickers where they belong. This is maybe one of my favorite parts of this planner. This is so awesome. And apparently, I know all of this just from Marion, but there is a tutorial for how to knit a cover for your planner. So Marion, she's crazy. She has actually knitted me one. And she gave it to me, and she said it doesn't fit, and she was so disappointed. She wanted to throw it away. And I tried it on at home, and I think it works just fine. So let me just fiddle around with it. I think the instructions for this might be online, so I'll see if I can find them. I'll let you guys know. But look, you guys, she made a faded cover for my planner. Isn't this just insane? Like, how much work would go into this? So I don't remember all of the colorways, but just look at how beautiful this is. And I think it works just fine. I might knit another one for it at some point if I ever find the time, but I think this is so beautiful, and this is just the perfect addition to this planner, and I couldn't love it anymore. Seriously, you guys. This is perfect, and I can't believe I have friends who think of me when these things come out, and yeah, I feel very, very, very spoiled. So I'm going to be using this a ton. I've actually been wanting to take this to work to just scribble in it and already start planning out things, but then again, knitting planner at work, I'm not really sure if that makes any sense, because of course we use like Outlook and stuff at work, so there's no real official reason for me to be using this. But anyways, I'm just over the moon with this, and like this entire package is just insane. So that's it for my acquisitions. And I think the only thing I have left to talk about is life in general. So if you're not interested in that, that is fine. In that case, I will just see you again next week. If you are sticking around, this is so funny. Every single time I start talking about the segment, and then only while talking, I start thinking about what I actually want to be talking about. So yeah, you'd think after 100 episodes I would be better at this, but no. On that note, thank you to everyone who did congratulate me on my 100th episode or my goal of reaching 2,500 subscribers last week. That was so sweet of you guys. I got the nicest comments. I really didn't expect that, and I just appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate that you guys watch the podcast, and especially, of course, I love the interaction with you guys. I have been more busy, of course, since I started work, so I feel like I'm always sort of neglecting Instagram, and sometimes I get tagged in things and I don't always manage to answer comments. And please do know that I do read all of that. I try to answer whenever I can, and I do 100% appreciate seeing you guys post something, whether it's related to the podcast or to knit-alongs or just anything. I love hearing from you guys, and please don't ever take it the wrong way if I take a while to respond or just maybe like a picture and don't say anything. It is not because I don't enjoy it or anything like that. It's really the opposite. I love podcasting, and in the days following the podcast, reading your guys' thoughts, and the interaction is really what I do it for. Like, sitting in front of a camera is fun because I know that you guys are watching, and just imagining how many people watch this is super, super scary for me, because if you ask me to go up in front of like 50 people and hold a speech, I'm going to be super nervous. And I realize it's way more people who watch this. So that's kind of insane, but yeah. Thank you so much. I really, really, truly appreciate your support. So I guess that wasn't very much life in general, but anyways, it's been a very, very basic, normal week this week. I've really been enjoying the weather. All of Germany, it feels like, has been complaining because it's been raining and sort of fall weather. It's been really cold. We've started turning on the heaters, and I've really been enjoying it. So the other day, we usually don't go to work together, but on Friday we left the house together, and I was all like, oh, it smells like winter and fall, and look, there's leaves on the ground, and Kai thinks I'm insane, but yeah, I just enjoy it so much. I've been wearing all my knitted things, and it's been bringing me a lot of happiness. I do go stir crazy sometimes, but most of the time I really do enjoy the colder weather. And it's just perfect for knitting and cuddling up inside, and I think I enjoy fall walks more than walks in the summer, which is crazy, but oh well. This morning we drove down once again to Lake Starnberg and had breakfast. It was raining cats and dogs. It was terrible weather, but I did feel kind of insane when we were driving down, but then it was really, really nice. So, this is Julia from the future. I have now edited the entire podcast, only to realize that my last segment of the podcast has somehow been lost. I'm not really sure where it's gone, but it is gone. So I was talking about our morning in Starnberg, but besides that, there's nothing too specific to report unless I've forgotten about something, which is very, very possible. But let's just say today I'm very excited to be just knitting and watching podcasts and having way too much coffee, and at some point replace my coffee with some gin and tonic, because that is my favorite beverage of choice for the evenings. because you totally needed to know that. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure what's going on to get there today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week. I hope you have lots of pretty yarns and knitting and crochet if you're a crocheter, and spinning, and just general crafty things to surround yourself with, to play with. If you like this video, maybe consider subscribing, and I will see you next week for another podcast episode before our holiday, which will of course mean that there will be a bit of a break, but I will be back with bells on next weekend. So until then, happy knitting. Thank you for watching. Bye.